My wife said your family drama isn't my problem, until her father got arrested and she begged me for help. But I gave her back her own words and walked away forever. I am 34, and I truly believed for most of my marriage that my wife and I shared a bond stronger than anything life could throw at us. From the outside, people always told us we looked like a perfect team. A couple who knew how to balance work, love, and everyday problems without falling apart. We had faced arguments, sure, the little misunderstandings that come with living together, but nothing ever made me question if we really had each other's backs. In my mind, marriage was about standing side by side no matter what storm came our way. I thought she believed the same. Life, however, decided to test that belief in a way that tore open cracks I didn't even know existed. My mother passed away several years ago, leaving my father to live alone. He was always a strong man, independent to the core, the type who would rather bite his tongue than admit he needed help. He hated burdening anyone with his problems. But when the phone rang one afternoon and I heard his doctor say the words, "Your father has cancer," my world tilted. My heart sank because I knew instantly that this was not something he could shoulder alone. He needed me, his only child, to step up. And for me, there was no hesitation. Not just because he is my father, but because that's what family means. You show up. You take the hits together. You don't ask whether it's convenient. You just do it. That same evening, I sat my wife down in our living room. I remember the soft glow of the lamp on the coffee table, the quiet humming of the air conditioner, and the weight of the words I was about to share. I told her everything. The diagnosis, the hospital visits, the treatments, the reality that my schedule would change completely. I thought she would respond with concern, maybe with sympathy, perhaps even with a plan of how we could balance things between my father's needs and our marriage. That's what partners do, right? They plan. They support. They try to find a middle ground. But she barely looked up from her phone. Her face was expressionless, her voice cold, and when I finally stopped speaking, the only words she gave me were, "Your family drama isn't my problem." For a second, I honestly thought I had misheard her. I even asked again, "What did you say?" hoping that maybe she had used the wrong words or that I had taken it out of context. But she repeated herself, slowly this time, as if I were hard of hearing. "Your family drama isn't my problem." Felt like a blow to the chest. Not just disappointment, but something deeper, like discovering a crack in the foundation of a house you thought was strong. A crack that had probably been hiding beneath layers of paint and happy days, waiting for pressure to expose it. I tried to stay calm. I told her this wasn't drama. This was my father's life. I wasn't asking her to take responsibility for him, only to understand that I needed to be there. But she just shrugged, saying she didn't want my family's problems spilling into her life. That night, as I lay beside her in bed, I stared at the ceiling, my mind running in circles. I kept thinking that if our roles were reversed, I would have been there without a second thought. I wouldn't have needed to be asked. I would have shown up because that's what love means. I tried to convince myself maybe she didn't know how to react. Maybe she was shocked. Maybe she would come around. But deep down, a seed of doubt had already been planted. Over the next few days, her words echoed in my head. "Your family drama isn't my problem." No matter how hard I tried to shake them off, they clung to me. Finally, I packed a small bag and went to stay with my dad. His house was only a short drive away, but I knew I'd be spending most nights there from then on. He tried to put on a brave face, cracking jokes about beating the system, but his eyes told a different story. He was tired, weak, and he needed me. I tried to keep my marriage alive despite the distance. I called my wife every evening, sent updates, even tried to talk about normal things so that we wouldn't drift apart. But my calls went unanswered. My messages got short, cold replies. 2 weeks in, she stopped picking up entirely.
No explanation. No imbusi.
Just silence. Then one afternoon, after yet another round of chemo with my dad, my phone buzzed with a text from her. It read, "When you're done with your father, come home. Otherwise don't call me again." I read it 3 times. The first time I thought maybe it was a joke. The second time I realized she was serious. The third time, I felt something inside me close off. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I just replied, "Okay, enjoy your life." And that was it. From that moment on, I understood her priorities. If something didn't directly benefit her, it wasn't worth her time. A month passed without a word between us. We were like strangers still bound by paper. I focused all my energy on my father. He needed me, and I was determined to be there. Then one evening, out of nowhere, my phone lit up with her name. I hesitated before answering. Part of me hoped she was finally calling to apologize, to bridge the gap. But the second I answered, I realized it wasn't that. She was crying, her voice shaking, almost unrecognizable. Between the sobs, she told me her father had been arrested. She didn't explain why, just that she was scared and didn't know what to do. She begged me to come immediately. For a long moment I said nothing. All I could think about was the silence she had given me, the calls she ignored, the texts she dismissed, and most of all, those words, "Your family drama isn't my problem." Now she wanted me to drop everything for her? When I didn't answer right away, she grew frustrated. "Why aren't you saying anything? Are you seriously just sitting there while I'm dealing with this? What is wrong with you?" She snapped. That's when I gave her back her own words, slowly, word for word. "Your family drama isn't my problem." The silence on the line was deafening. For a second, I thought the call had dropped. Then she let out a sharp, bitter laugh. "Wow, so you're just going to be heartless? He's my father," she shouted. I almost laughed myself at the hypocrisy. Her father mattered. Mine didn't. That was the difference. I told her I was with my dad and that he still needed me. Then I hang up. That night I didn't feel victory. I didn't feel like I had won anything. Instead, I felt hollow. Because I never wanted to be the kind of person who walked away when someone needed help. But she had set the standard. She had drawn the line, and I simply followed it. Weeks passed, and she didn't call again. Not until 2 months later when she showed up in person at the hospital. I saw her walk into the waiting room, dressed neatly, hair perfect, makeup flawless, trying to appear strong. But her eyes were different. They searched the room until they landed on me. She walked over quickly and said, "Can we talk, please?" I didn't look at her. I was adjusting my dad's blanket, making sure he was comfortable. After a long pause, I finally replied with her exact words from before. "I don't care about your father. That's your problem. Solve it your own way." Her face crumpled. She tried to explain, saying she hadn't meant what she said months ago, that she was stressed and didn't know how to react. But I stayed focused on my father. She called me a heartless coward before turning and leaving the hospital. She never came back, not even once during my father's entire treatment. And that's when the truth finally hit me. It wasn't about one argument. It wasn't about miscommunication. It was about who she really was when life got hard. And once you see someone's true self, you can't unsee it. We've been living separately ever since. She hasn't called again. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know one thing. If a marriage can't survive the moments where you need each other the most, then it was never as strong as you believed. So here's my question to anyone listening. Was I wrong for giving her the exact same treatment she gave me? Or was it simply fair? Thank you for staying till the end. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more stories.